Come on. I think now it's time to become a serious mechanic. I have an issue with my 914, and as you have seen with the last video, I was not able to start it. I have a fuel issue. I looked at the injectors, they were not spraying any fuel. I have to look if the injectors are getting the power or if my fuel pump is actually working. I know it's getting power, but I don't know if it's functional. So that's what I'll be doing on this video. We'll be just looking at different things like fuses and relays and ground, and actually checking resistance, if I have any vacuum leak and all sort of weird thing that can go wrong. It will be an adventure here. Slowly but surely I am becoming a mechanic, although I don't trust my mechanical skills. So here we go. So back in the engine bay, I checked the injectors. They are getting power, but there was no fuel here. I took two of them out. They were not spraying any fuel. So I took out the main line. This is the main line, and this is the return line. So I took this one out and no fuel came out. So that tells me there is either a blockage in the supply line or the fuel pump was on the way out. And also I checked the fuel pressure and there was nothing. I cranked the car, this barely moved, so it tells me the fuel pump is dead. I also checked ground on this area. The grounds are fine, so I don't see anything else here. I also checked the relays here. I replaced the fuse and they're getting power too, so these are fine. Injectors on these sides are fine. The only thing I did not have is fuel pressure. I finally received a fuel pump from Auto Atlanta, and they sell a bunch of stuff for the 914s, and this thing was expensive. So apparently the earlier 914s, maybe the 70, 71 and 72, they used this fuel pump with 3 lines on it. So I thought about getting a cheaper fuel pump, but because of the setup that I have already, I decided to spend the money and buy a proper fuel pump. Although this is used fuel pump, this is remanufactured, it still cost over $500, so it's an expensive fuel pump. A new one is around $1,000. And there are 2 types of fuel pump. One for a car with mechanical injection, like if it's carbureted, and also the one with electronic fuel injection or D-jet, like this one. Everything seems to check out except the fuel pump. I wasn't getting any fuel pressure in the back. So after checking everything, I ordered the fuel pump. It took over a week to get here, but today I have it. So we'll go ahead and install it and see if the car will start. I was trying to understand why they have the Y connector on the return line. This actually regulates pressure to protect the pump. It's actually not to regulate the pressure to the injector. So the pump, I think, is designed to operate at 2 bars of pressure. So if it goes high, like 3 bars, this valve would open and it will release fuel, and most of it will go back to the tank, and it will protect the pump from failing. new fuel pump is in. Just waiting for it to dry a little bit because it's a lot of fuel that leaked when I was doing it. Once I clean this up and make sure I'm not gonna have any fire, I'm going to connect the power, see if the fuel pump will actually keep running. Oh, so I actually have to connect the back because I took that apart too. So I checked and I double checked. I don't see any fuel leak. The main concern is back here because things get hot and you can catch on fire. And I haven't put my air cleaner back on there, so I'll just try it. I'll just give it power, see if it's pressurizing, see if there's any leak before I do the start. The battery has been sitting for almost 2 weeks, so I don't know if it has any power, but let's go ahead and give it a try. Oh boy, so this sucks. I put in the new fuel pump, but the car will not start. It looks like now I'm getting fuel on the main line. So I want to see how much fuel is gonna come out of this main line. I'll put the engine on, turn the fuel pump on, and see if there's any fuel that will come out. So as you can see, there's good amount of fuel coming out. So I have fuel pressure, but I do have to check the injectors now. So that could be the second issue that I might be having. Alright, so after messing around with things and cleaning the grounds and checking the fuse, I think the car is willing to start. Let's give it another try and see if it will actually start. Alright, there you go. As you can see, the car actually starts. So the fuel pump was the issue. After I changed the fuel pump, I was able to get fuel back here. When I was trying to sense the pressure back here, I did take this out and I think I pulled this. And these wires are very old, so it's very easy to come out. One of the line on the pressure sensor, the bottom line was out. It was not connecting to the pin. I took this out, I cleaned it, and I put it back in there. And the car was struggling to start, but it wanted to. And finally, it started. I think the fuel was the main issue, and then loose connection wires. I'm glad it's not the injector. I'll put the air cleaner back on there and see if the car will actually run for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. So here it is, we got it figured out. So it's running very well. I think it's a tad high, the RPMs are a little bit higher, but the car is also very cold. So I've actually never driven this car, so I might get in it, go around the block and see if it'll make it. But I'm also checking to see if there is any smoke. I need a little bit of tuning. So there you go, guys. The car is running a little rough. I have to play with adjusting some stuff back here. It's getting into gear. So this car does have a lightened flywheel, which makes it a little bit of a challenge to drive smoothly on the street. But it picks up and go. The engine feels very strong. The transmission, there is that leak. Before I can drive it anywhere, I do have to take care of that. Other than that, I don't see any smoke from the back. I checked for the fuel leak. It looks good. So that's a good step forward on this car. I'll play around. Maybe next time you see it, it'll be a Cars and Coffee, or maybe I'll be doing something else. Oh, I might actually be upgrading the lights. So the next video might be about the lights on this car. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.